Hey everybody, it's Hassani coming to you from First30Fitness. Just touching base, we just came off a fantastic weekend. We shot two videos. We had the Tampa Bay Riverwalk video that I had promised. That one was fantastic. Getting the editing done now. Once that gets posted, that's going to really get people excited about getting out in the community and getting their exercise in. A lot of people turned out to watch us shoot. It was really cool. We did have people chanting Juneteenth, Juneteenth. So whatever that's worth, but hey, it made it exciting. So I want to thank everybody for supporting that, and also the USF students that are helping edit and put that together. So I'm really grateful for that as well. And then what we also did when I was leaving that shoot, I was actually checking some of my emails at First30Fitness at gmail.com. So if you want to send questions to me, or if you have information that you want more clarity on as far as like intermittent fasting, energy levels, macronutrients, anything that you can think of relative to fitness, that's definitely something where you can send to me, and I'll be more than happy to include that in the video. Like I said, guys, F30 Fitness is about improving your performance. It's also about improving your knowledge about performance, about health, about nutrition, about energy levels, about training, whatever it is. I mean, we encompass everything because we want to make sure that you get a full and well-balanced experience. So as I was saying, when I was leaving the Tampa Riverwalk event, I checked my emails, and I had a lot of emails from some of our senior athletes who were asking about doing a video for them. So you know what, we took the crew, moved them from Tampa Bay Riverwalk, and we actually shot at another beautiful park at Wesley Chapel District Park, which was another beautiful facility. We shot some scenery, so that will be included in the video. And pretty much in that video, what we did was include some exercise bands. So this video is going to be more of our aging fitness, where most of the exercises are really generated toward using the exercise band to develop strength, to increase stretching, to increase movement, and involve chairs. So we both have the exercise both sitting and standing, depending upon your fitness levels. So it's something that really definitely want to look out for as well. Now, just because I said it's aging fitness doesn't mean that any athlete can't use that, because everybody needs to have that routine outside of their running, outside of their heavy weights. But that stretching component, guys, is what we see, and even in our pro athletes, that hinder them the most. Because when we start talking about hamstrings a la James Harden, here you have a world-class athlete, a future Hall of Famer who was having a fantastic season and pretty much was sidelined from a hamstring injury. I think he missed a total of like 22 to 25 games, whatever the case may be. But it just lets you know that stretching routine is very important. And even in some cases, even if you are doing the stretching, it doesn't guarantee that you'll be totally injury free, but at least you can decrease those chances of you getting those injuries that can sideline you or even take you away from your training. So once again, look forward to that one as well. Also, I want to thank everyone as well from the two videos that we did release, getting some good response. Now, the one thing I want to tell people, because in the comments as well, was like, oh, you know, this exercise looks a little bit too complicated. You know, I can't really use it. That's okay. Keep in mind that a lot of those exercises can be adapted to whatever your level of fitness is. So if it's a situation where, for an example, the ball toss, where we're using a 20-pound ball, you don't have to use a 20-pound ball. You could use anything. You could use a weighted pillow sack. You could take a rubber ball, anything that you would need that just gives you that motion of being able to go through and move elements of power through your body, which is the purpose of that medicine ball toss. You can do that. So just because I might say that specifically this is a 20-pound weight, or this is a 20-pound medicine ball, or a 15-pound easy curl bar, it doesn't mean that you're restricted or limited to those things. Make it work for you. The purpose of F30 Fitness is just to show you alternatives of what you can do to keep that active lifestyle adapted for you. And that actually is what you'll see in the aging fitness video, where if you don't have a dumbbell, what we have set up is a water jug or 2 water bottles to substitute for that. Anything that you can use around the house, heck, a bottle of bleach, a broomstick, all of those things can substitute for gym equipment. Long before there was any of the open facilities or public gyms, people used what they had. They made do with what they had at home. Some of the home gyms that I've seen have been some of the best gyms as far as really getting into that grind, really being at the very basics of that early bodybuilding movement that you saw in the late 69 with Sergio Olive, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Don Draper, all of the classic physiques that you used to see back then. Hey, there was no LA Fitness, there was no Crunch, there was no F30 Fitness. Simply put, they may do what they had to, but what they did have was intelligent training. They knew what they were targeting, and they developed pieces of equipment or machinery or made do on those things that would hit those target muscles. So no difference here, guys. We benefit more now because we do have companies that make specific machines, great quality machines. We do have facilities that we can go to where all those things are included. But it doesn't mean that if you don't have those, you can't work out. It doesn't mean that if you don't have that access or paying the gym membership, doesn't mean that you can't be fit. Doesn't mean that you can't be healthy. All of those things we eliminate because sometimes they do become our crutch. They do become our excuse not to participate in fitness. And like I said in my last video, guys, there's only a few elite athletes in the world. There's only a few Usain Bolts. There's only a few Carl Lewis's. There's only a few Jesse Owens. There's only a few Larry Birds. There's only a few Michael Jordans. There's only a few Magic Johnsons. There's only a few Wayne Gretzky's, Mario Lemieux. When you start talking about great athletes, Mike Trout, Henry Aaron, Barry Bonds, well, Barry Bonds, we might have to think about that. But he was great before he had the rumor of steroids. When he was at Pittsburgh, he was great. He just became greater once those rumors began. So I'll kind of put that on the fence as far as that gray area, but he was a great athlete. So those are cases that you see maybe once in a generation. So you can aspire as far as having that as your goal, but the realistic aspect of it is that it's going to be very few people that will see that kind of production. But the motivation can be there. But don't be disappointed when the numbers of whatever you're participating in, your sports, just in life. As I was saying in the other video, in the last video as well, I encourage you, if you haven't seen it, please go back and look at that video. It's called Who We Are, up on this YouTube channel as well. Encourage you to go back and look at that because I was making some key points, identifying what's going to separate First30Fitness from the other gyms or facilities or other trainers that you may run into. You'll have trainers that will tell you, oh yes, if you do this program, oh, you're going to do this, you're going to be great, you're going to hit these goals, you're going to be elite, you're going to do this. I hope that you will be. In essence, I hope that we all are able to achieve our goal. But the realism is that it's not going to be as easy. We can get there as long as we set realistic goals, and that's what at First30Fitness we do. We tell you how these things will plateau. Each opportunity is a building block for the next. It reminds me of actually another question that I wanted to address. I'm sorry to kind of deviate, but these are critical questions that I want to make sure that as you're giving them to me, I answer. I think it's nothing worse than when someone sends you a question really counting on our expertise here at First30Fitness and they go unanswered. So let me hit one of these as well. A person was mentioning to me like, hey, I'm in the gym 6 days a week. I'm doing everything I can. I have this training video. I'm doing intermittent fasting. I'm taking this protein shake. I'm doing creatine and all of these different things that they were listing. But the one thing that I noticed that they didn't list was what they were eating. Guys, like I said, it's not rocket science here. I can honestly tell you that you can do all of these programs from head to toe. You can do everything perfectly. But if that nutrition is not right, you will be short of your goals. Simply put, that training element may be 20 to 30% of your overall success, because that training forces you to grow, allows you to cut, allows you to develop contour, allows you to show striations in your muscles, allow you to be able to show that fitness look that you want to have. That's great. But it's hard to see it if you have layers and layers of unwanted weight on top of those. So those are things that we're going to get into later on. What I've really been trying to do is just kind of push some content just to get a feel for how we are as far as our training philosophy, some of the training that we do, and then in this one-on-one session here, just kind of tell you, just kind of relate to you as we would be in a consultation if I was sitting down talking to you. And that way you get to know what we're about, get to know what our feelings are, how our mood and stuff goes, and how we approach training. Listen, there's nothing wrong with trying. The only thing about trying is that you have to make sure that you have a plan. You can go from the couch to the gym and you can say, hey, I'm gonna go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna go in for an hour. But if there's not a detailed plan as far as what you're doing in that hour, what you're doing on those 3 days of the week, you're kind of sailing without a rudder. You're going to be in the gym. It's going to be a good conversation piece when you speak to your friends. Hey, I went to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'm sore. That's a great conversation piece. But when we start talking about results and you really wanting to see you hit those goals, especially now getting into the summer where it's getting a little bit more hot and you're out at the beach and you're out with your family, those results you're going to see if you're really in a gym making progress. So let's make sure that when we start these fitness routines, we have an ideal in mind. And that's really what First 30 Fitness evaluates. We look at you and we say, wait a minute, let's measure your head to torso. Let's measure your torso to feet. Because a lot of times you can see an immediate imbalance between, especially in men, the upper body being so thick and the legs might not be as dense as far as balancing out the body. Now, aesthetically, when I look at that as a professional, I can see that imbalance as far as how it looks, but I can also tell you structurally, performance-wise, injury-wise, that's a problem. And that's something that you have to address. So it's okay knowing that at the beach, you're going to have big swim shorts on where no one can see your legs. And you go in and you do curls and you're doing chest press and you're doing tricep push downs and you're hitting your abs. That's great. But structural wise, now your lower body is having to struggle maintaining all that mass that's up top. So every time that you're pounding, you're walking into the pavement, your foot hits the ground. If you're thinking like, hey, I'm starting to feel a little soreness in my lower back, you might think it's just from the weight training. But I can tell you, I've seen it many times, it's because there's an imbalance between what your legs are able to support as far as your upper body mass and vice versa. Believe it or not, I've seen people whose thighs are massive. Saquon Barkley size thighs, tree trunk size thighs. And then their upper body is not as massive. So you end up with some slumped shoulder situations. You end up with the person moving forward like this because there's no balance. There's no equilibrium between the upper body and lower body. There's not the type of support that's required in order to gain maximum performance, maximum balance. So F30F, that's what we look at, guys. We evaluate as far as, like I said, putting you in great health, putting you in a great mind wellness, and making sure that every day when you get up, you have a plan. And when you implement that plan, you will be able to see the results. I love transformation stories. I love to see people who one day weighed 280 pounds, and then a period of time later, they weigh 190, 170. Those stories and transformations are fantastic. But then I like to see, after that transformation takes place and now that weight was initially lost, Can we fast forward 10 years later and where's your weight at now? Where's your health level now? Because like I said, First 30 Fitness is not totally about the short term. It's really setting you up with the mindset that's going to allow you to excel and achieve in life. So as I said, when you get up in age, 60, 70, 80, you're already in good physical health, mental health, spiritual health. You have great nutrition habits. You have great exercise habits. So then that way, these things can keep you away from some of the traps we fall into, having so many medical visits in order to take care of ailments that we may have occurred when we were younger. Another question that I had that I wanted to talk about, I know a lot of runners. Of course, we work with a lot of college track athletes, professional track athletes, high school athletes as well. And some of the questions that I got was, how much running should I be doing as a sprinter, as a long distance runner? Now, this is what I would say, guys. This is something that's going to vary based upon, of course, what event that you're in. It's going to vary based upon what your goals are, what level of competition that you are. So I'll start basically from the average person, then we'll work up to the elite athlete, which can even be more complicated. But for the average person, really, when you start thinking about it, a person is not active at all. So the tendon and ligaments in the legs, at the ankle joints, the knee joints have been inactive. And then they'll read an article where it says, hey, if you jog 3 miles a day, it's going to allow you to lose this much weight. Well, you can jog 3 miles a day, but if those tendons, ligaments, and all those stability muscles and skeletal aspects that we have aren't warmed up, aren't strong enough, you're going to end up with injury, which is going to put you back on the sideline. So this is what I say, guys. If you're just starting out, start off walking. Develop that endurance. Start to get 1 mile, 2 mile, 3 miles per day or 3 times a week, whatever your schedule is. It's hard when you have children and a job to do all those things. So those are the things that you will have to work on and kind of balance for yourself. So start with walking. Then when you feel comfortable there, as opposed to going to long-term running, try doing a 20-yard sprint, 5 20-yard sprints, 10 20-yard sprints. And then once now you start identifying that, hey, my muscles are holding up, I'm not pulling, I'm feeling great with the great stretching routine. Now try doing 5 40-yard sprints, 5 60-yard sprints, 5 100-yard sprints. And why do I say that? Because I want you to think about this. What takes more effort as far as really challenging the muscles? A 10-mile run, which is really going to be more endurance, going to be more of a cardio aspect? Or is it going to be 10 100-meter sprints at a moderate pace in which your heart rate is going to have to drastically increase? You're going to take in an oxygen levels at a higher amount over a shorter period of time. And the physical exertion and the amount of power that you would have and need running those sprints, which one is going to allow the muscles to really expand, to really push themselves? Now, I'm not saying one over the other, but I'm just saying if you're short on time and if you're looking to build up into something, the sprint aspect of it, after you develop the walking routine, the stretching routine, the sprint aspect of it is going to produce for you a more receptive result, a more positive result. Now, if you're training to be a long distance runner, absolutely, of course, you have to work up in those distance. You have to do some speed drill distance. You have to do some endurance distance. You have to vary your pace in running. Absolutely, that goes hand in hand. But even the long distance runner can benefit from some sprint work, because once again, you're pushing the muscles to have a different form of training. So it's a variety of things, guys. Like I said, F30F, there's no template. I can't say to you this is going to work for everyone, but I can tell you that if you use a variety of different things, you're going to be sure to hit something that's going to benefit you. And that's the goal of fitness. What personally can you put into your routine that's going to allow you to be successful? So those are just some of the things I wanted to say. Once again, just kind of recapping here, 2 videos coming up for you. One on aging fitness, which I did at Wesley Chapel District Park, beautiful park. The other one is the Tampa Bay River Walk, in which I incorporate more of advanced moves because we have the sandbag, we're doing stairs, we have the battle ropes, we are doing some sprinting, we have some jump polymetric drills, and we're also using the weighted ball as well. So 2 different types of workouts that everyone can benefit from. You have to assess your level of fitness. It's not going to be the sort of thing where I would advise a 70-year-old to do the workout from Tampa Bay Riverwalk. But as opposed to sprinting, it's okay to do speed walking. If you're using the proper form, heel toe, using the arm momentum in order to emulate and simulate running, that's fantastic. I know people always laugh when they see older people out there with the weights and they're swinging their arms, but you know what? That's true fitness, because even though you're not able to run, you're actually allowing yourself to keep those muscles moving. And that's what fitness is really all about. As I told you, F30F is about constant motion, finding a way in which to constantly challenge yourself, constantly push yourself, allow your muscles to get used to doing things they don't do when you're sitting at home watching Netflix, okay? The other aspect of it too, another question was, person asked me, how many times a week should I work out? Once again, that comes down to what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish. If you are training for an event, you should be at least 4 to 5 days. Even if it's a savage race or if it's a 5K or whatever the case may be, 4 to 5 days, using that cycle depending upon how far you are out from your event. Those are things that if you want to send me something specifically as far as what event, how far you are, what your weight, your weight is currently, and some of your running routines, definitely I can analyze that. And once again, send that to First30Fitness@gmail.com. I'll be happy to look at that. And like I said, we have people on staff that have been elite runners. I actually have 2 runners that actually were at the Olympic trials in the late 2008, 2010 area. So they're very familiar with that. And I also have myself, I was a sprinter. I also have 2 other sprinters who are part of F30F who consult with me when I'm working with elite athletes. That way we can put things together and speak from intelligence, right? So once again, First30Fitness, hit us up on Instagram. Let us know. Follow us. We'll follow you back. That way you can kind of see when we go live, because I'll be doing a lot of these kind of chats live on Instagram. Make sure that you like and subscribe down to our YouTube channel. Please pass this on. Let people know that you know would like to get in fitness and maybe just don't know how to get started. Have them watch our videos. Like I said, this is something that we've been wanting to do. We've been so caught up in the West Coast. Now we're moving back here east and putting our whole catalog together of the things that we want to do. So once again, my name is Hassani. I'm always outdoors for you. You can see it here. Kind of humid today, but at least I'm close to the door just to let you know I try to stay true to what I say. So we're going to be looking at another park. I have a feeling we're going to go with Al Lopez. If not this weekend, the following weekend. We do have some, like I said, some Olympic track athletes that are in the middle of Olympic trials now. So we're caught up now doing a lot of video analysis from some of the prelims and some of the running that they've been doing. So that kind of has us running around with a chicken with our head cut off. Part of what you don't know about First30Fitness, I really didn't mention it. We do have an IT staff. And about 3 years ago, we actually started working with computer analysis, where we can put a person in a bodysuit and we can actually track the motions of their extremities and their limbs and make sure that they're hitting balance. We actually have technology where we can put monitors on just to make sure that their heart is regulating, make sure that they're breathing properly. We have a suit that we're developing now that analyzes body temperature to make sure that looking at what high performance, what body temperature a person needs to be at, or what it consistently looks at. We're also looking at how much sweat a person loses during certain exercises as well. So F30 Fitness is pretty detailed. We do a lot of different things that you may not hear about. One of the other things too was people were asking me to name clients as far as who we work with. We don't do that. A lot of the clients that we have are part of professional teams who have their own trainers and they use us on the side. So you won't see us having a need to post up photographs where we're hugging or pointing at someone that's a celebrity or standing next to them. That's not what we do, guys. Those people trust in the confidentiality of us and our professionalism. So we don't need to use them in order to convince you that we know what we're doing. If you look at our videos and you come and you work out with us when we do our group camps, you're going to see that there's a difference between what you've seen in the past versus how we go about doing things. So if those athletes down the road want to give shout outs to F30 Fitness, or if the universities that we work with, or the different professional teams that we work with or are affiliated with want to give us a shout out, that's fine. But as far as us calling out those athletes, that's not something that we're going to do. So confidentiality sometimes, modesty, humility, humbleness goes further with athletes, understanding that when they come to us, some of them have injuries that the teams may not be aware of. Some of them may have a performance issue that they don't want the team to be aware of, and that's their confidentiality to do that. So we work with them in doing that. So once again, thank you so much for your questions. Please keep them coming. Once again, at First30Fitness@gmail.com. Please send us any question. No question is too small. No question is dumb. We love to answer questions about fitness. That's what we're here for. That's what we went to school for. That's what we dedicate most of our lives to. So even if it's about your kids, how to get them involved in activities, we're going to try to get together different associations. So we'll have a site that you can go to that's going to list what all the kids' activities are, where you can sign your kid up for the different sports around Tampa Bay, because First30 Fitness really wants to be a part of the Tampa Bay community. We really want to reach out and have an impact on all levels of fitness. So no matter what it is, you know First30 Fitness is supporting and behind that. Once again, my name is Hassani. I'm always outdoor for you. I want everyone to definitely be safe. We look forward, we'll get those videos posted up, so please check back in with us. Set it to subscribe so that way you'll get the notifications in regards to when those videos post. And like I said, you're really going to be fascinated. It's going to be some stuff that you haven't seen, some different workout techniques that I hope improves your level of fitness. So once again, have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.